Welcome to For Collectors.
Hey guys, welcome to For Collectors. I'm James, and I am joined today by two guys that I admire in the hobby, and that is you'll notice Chris on the bottom, Chris Sewell from Collector, Investor, Dealer, or how is that order? How does it go, Chris?
You got it. That's right.
And then Jeremy, the Texas Snowman, who's his partner. How you doing, guys?
Good, buddy. How are you?
Yeah, thank you guys for coming on. I'm so happy to have you guys on. Just to give you a little backstory, I'm friends with Jeremy because we actually set up a lot at the Dallas Card Show, and that's how I got to know Jeremy. And through Jeremy, I got to know Chris, and we were hanging out breaking bread at the National.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. So basically, I want to know, Chris, you just came back to the States, right?
I did, yeah.
Recently, and you're still moving in?
Yeah, we came back about 2 months ago. We were staying at my parents' place for a couple months, and we just got a new place in Baltimore. So I just moved into the new place. We don't even have furniture and stuff yet, but
oh wow,
here we are.
So I wanted to ask you, Chris, what's the biggest difference from the UK to the US collecting wise that you noticed?
Well, so I was in the Netherlands, and it's completely a different. There's basically no real market there for cards. Very minor, a little bit of soccer stuff, a little bit of modern basketball, but not much. Like there's a card show. I went to maybe 4 card shows in the 4.5 years I was there, and they were all like 15 tables, and basically all modern basketball and soccer. So not much there. There's a lot here, so very different, obviously.
Wow. And then Jeremy, you moved from California over to Texas, right?
Yeah, I lived about 45 minutes from California, from Arizona to Texas. Yeah.
And what's the biggest difference you noticed from where you came from to here in Texas?
Well, it's ironic, man, because I lived in Kingman, which is like northwest part of Arizona, and I was like, man, I wish there was more card shows here. And then I moved to Texas, and then there's the Mint, and then there's Burbank, and all these huge shows in Phoenix that pop up right after I move. So I'm like, right after I move, all these happen, because I would have went to all those, and so that's the biggest thing. It's really blown up more on the West Coast now. And Chris and I have been saying for a long time, like, why isn't there a big West Coast show? Like Chris did Frankensons forever, and Long Beach show, and there wasn't much, right?
Right. Frankensons was a weekly show that had maybe 15 card dealers.
Yeah,
I know it was a good show, but I mean, there's only 15 card dealers, and they're the same every week. So you quickly use it up. And Jeremy and I talked all the time, like, why is there no major card show in the West Coast? I was living in LA area, no major shows, none for the 10 years I lived there. There was a big one in San Francisco, but that was far. And Jeremy and I even talked about doing a show. Remember?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we briefly had that.
And really, we should have. We totally should have done it.
But of course, as soon as I leave, Burbank opens up the biggest show in the world, which I was 45 minutes from.
Yeah,
back then, but now I'm on the East Coast, so obviously not going to that.
It's crazy how that works.
Yeah.
So you guys have been partners for how long?
Oh,
10-ish years.
12 years, probably. Yeah. 11, 12 years.
Within the first year, was it seamless, or how did it work out for you guys to build that camaraderie and chemistry?
You want to go first, Jeremy?
Sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, Chris just couldn't stop soaking in all the infinite knowledge that he learned from me, and he just begged for more all the time. No, I'm just kidding. I was new, so I was learning a ton from Chris. I was literally brand new. Like, super quick backstory. I had collected when I was a kid, and I went to Kenny Rogers' Perfect Game in the 90s from the Rangers with my dad, and that just totally got me hooked on baseball. And long story short, I quit collecting because my house burned down, unfortunately, and burned up my card collection, which now I know wasn't really worth anything, but it was worth something to me, And so I just didn't collect forever. And then it was only about 4 months before I met Chris that I started buying cards, and I bought this deal. It was 50s, and I bought it, and then I kept some stuff that I wanted and sold the rest. And I was like, oh, I can do this and collect and make a little bit of money or break even and just keep rolling it over. So I did. And it was my second deal that I had bought that I had actually posted on Craigslist. And Chris had contacted me and he's like, hey, I'm interested. Can we talk? So we talked on the phone and he's asking, yeah, can I come see it? And I'm like, well, yeah, I live like 4 hours away from you in Arizona. And he's like, why'd you post it in LA, man? And I was like, well, because there's nothing really out here and I'd be happy to drive and meet you or whatever. So ends up he came down and bought it from me. And then we did a second and third deal. And then we're like, dude, why don't we just partner together? So we did, because I didn't really, I knew enough to know what to buy and not buy, but he really knew the ins and outs because he had done it for a long time. So it kind of morphed from that to like, I found the cards and he knew what to do with them to, learning along the way. And we're both, we both just do our own thing and things together to this day. And, we'll ask each other questions on deals and cards and, opinions on value and stuff like that too. So it's just been a really good partnership. But at the core of it, the biggest thing is Chris and I can completely trust each other and we're not greedy. Like if anything, Chris and I would reverse auction and be like, dude, no, you need to make more on this deal. No, Chris, you need to make more on this deal. That's just how
a lot of those, yeah.
And that's the beautiful thing about our relationship is we always cared more about the other person and we weren't greedy. And we truly wanted the best for each other and we trusted each other. We trust each other in, without any issue or concern whatsoever. So that's really the hardest thing to find in a partner. The knowledge can come, but that trust is really important.
So Chris, you found a good partner in Jeremy. Now he just started coming on your channel every now and then, like a cameo. What sparked you to do YouTube?
Well, YouTube, since I moved to Europe, I went to Europe. We were basically just going to go for 2 years, and I was going to try doing something else, and then we were going to return to the States. But we ended up staying for 4.5 years because we really, really loved it there. And the only thing missing from being there was cards. Like I didn't have much of a card community, so I just needed to reconnect. Like I tried stock trading, and I was looking into like opening up a store and stuff, but it wasn't really clicking, and I just needed to reconnect with the hobby. And the only thing I could think to do was start a YouTube channel. So that's what I did, and it did better than I expected by far. And at some point, Jeremy, Jeremy's been my partner for 10 plus years. And he's very personable, and it just made sense to have him on as a guest. He's actually the only guest I've ever had on. I mean, I guess I've had a couple others, but for the most part, he's the only regular guest I've ever had. So yeah.
And then you're talking about 1 million views for an 80s video. Did you ever think it would get successful?
Yeah, that's a fluke. I don't know why that video happened to get so many views, but yeah, I think it's top 20 most valuable cards from the 80s. That video is like 2 years old now. It's outdated, but
yeah. I mean, I would guess because most people that are in the hobby either have collected those or grew up with those or collected when they were younger in the 50s or 60s, and now the 80s are out. So sure, I'll buy those too. So it seems like just most people in the hobby at some point have bought that stuff. Or
yeah, I bet a lot of people are like finding them in their closet and being like, oh wow, I wonder what I have.
Like oh, is that for example, is that a Tiffany? Like because this card, if it's not a Tiffany's, not super expensive, but a Tiffany, this is over $1,000.
Yeah.
So it's over $1,000 card.
That's a Tiffany. Oh, that was in the collection we bought recently.
That's from the collection we just bought from a gentleman at Chicago at the National. Yeah. So
is that a PC item for you?
This is not a PC item for me, no. And then he had quite a few Tiffany's. Like I'll show you another one. There's the Griffey Tiffany in a 9. Clemens Tiffany in a 9. He had some other ones too. That's just the only ones that I have here. But no, these are not PC. But I do love 90s Jordan inserts. I love that stuff. For Chris, he likes Ripken, which I give him a hard time all the time. But truly, Ripken was an amazing player. I mean, his record will never be broken, how many games he played. But so it's not PC, no. But I do like the Tiffany's. But a lot of people, like if they're looking through a collection, they're like, oh man, I want to know if it's Tiffany or not. I'm going to watch this 80s video to find out if I have something that's worth way more than I thought it was. You know what I mean? So that's my opinion, what I would think. But
And
Yeah,
for
I
you,
love the Tiffany's because the 80s was the decade I grew up collecting.
yeah,
So I have a lot of nostalgia for that decade, and I know all the players really well because I followed all their careers when I was a kid. But the cards aren't worth anything. So like getting an 87 Topps Barry Bonds is like $2. You can go on eBay and buy 100 of them if you want. So it's not very exciting to like chase it. But if you chase the Tiffany's, they're much rarer. They're a little more expensive. They're harder to find. So there's a little more excitement in the chase and getting the card.
it makes it a treasure hunt.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
really
yeah.
does.
and that's the only way you can have weight in some of these eras, because I mean, it's just so many of them. Almost everyone has them, so you got to look for those scarcer sets, which is Tiffany mainly, or in the '90s, like the refractors and inserts.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So going back to your '80s video, I would have thought that the '90s would have been more popular, being that not only are we learning what's more valuable, but it's also classes in session, because here, check these out and see what they go for.
Yeah.
Would you have thought that?
I probably would have predicted that too. But like now that I've done a bunch of videos, I understand I think the late 80s was the peak of the hobby, or maybe the late 80s, early 90s. And so that's when the 80s was very fresh. By the time you get into the late 90s, the hobby had really dipped in terms of number of people involved. So there's less people who were like remember 1997 as opposed to 1987. Like so many
Yeah.
collectors who 1987 is relevant to them, but 1997 maybe isn't as much. But yeah, I would have probably guessed the 90s too going in.
So both of you PC some stuff, but when it comes to dealing, what's your favorite stuff to find, to come upon and deal? What do you feel like is your favorite when you light up that you found a collection of what?
We're gonna be the same on this one. Go ahead.
Vintage.
Vintage?
Older the better.
Older
Yeah.
Older the better.
And
Yeah.
why is that?
Just you don't see it much, and it's exciting, and it's easy to move. Not easy to move, but yeah, I guess it is easy to move. Like it's steady and yeah, you don't see it a lot.
So okay, I'll ask each one. What has been like the one card you can remember, or a few cards you can remember that floored you when you came upon it, Jeremy?
Tito 06 Magi error.
Oh,
That was in our yeah.
That was our deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
was
our
your
deal.
deal? That same thing for you, Chris, or a different card?
No, but mine's also in our deal. Our first 52 mantle. That was my first 52 mantle.
Yeah.
And that was like when we bought that, it was like way over my pay grade. Like I was not, or
Was that
maybe.
the one at the, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Was that the one at the National, or was that the one
No,
in Springs?
the raw one.
Oh yeah, I got it 2.5.
Where was it? In
2016, 15.
Yeah, somewhere in there. And it was a raw copy. I was like 90% sure it was good because he had a whole bunch of 52s and they were clearly good. But I was like, I can't believe I'm about to buy a collection with a 52 Topps mantle. Like that's like.
That's the dream.
I mean, as a kid, I would have never thought that's even like possible. And here we were about to buy it. And I was like, I remember Jeremy was negotiating with the guy, and I was like so nervous. And then when, we made a fair offer and he accepted, and I was like,
you just bought this. Oh my God.
I'm about to own a 52 mantle.
You look like Macaulay Culkin, right?
Yeah. Well, right, exactly. Yeah. The ironic thing, though, it was missing the thing it was missing the most of was the low numbers. It had what, Chris, like 80 high numbers, I think.
Yeah, right. It had all the high numbers, or not all, but he had a near set. I think he was missing like 50 cards from the set.
Yeah,
he had all the big cards, right?
I think he was missing like Bartrom, which
Eddie
is
Matthews, maybe,
and the Matthews rookie.
Yeah,
and
but everybody else
might have been it. But for reference, how long ago it was that 52 mantle? It ended up grading a 2.5. We
sold it raw before.
We sold it raw before, but it graded a 2.5. But I want to say we sold it for like 15,000.
Sold it for 15. Yeah, that's exactly.
That tells you how long ago that was. Right?
Yeah.
Well, how do you disconnect from a card that you're floored by the fact, like that Maggie or the mantle, and you're like, I want to keep it. I don't know if I'll ever find one again, own one again. And like, how do you come to terms with peeling away from cards? Jeremy, I guess I'll start with you.
Okay. Well, I'll use the Magi as an exact example. So when we bought that card, it was a part of a complete T206 set. It was just missing the Doyle, the Wagner, and the Plank. Everything else was there, and I actually kept that Magi for quite a while. And the reason I ended up selling it years later, and the reason I did was because at that time it got me completely out of debt. So not just that card, but I sold a bunch of other stuff too. And I was like, you know what? I love this. I have put a lot of blood, sweat, and love and tears into this set. But I'm going to let it go because it serves a purpose that's good for my season right now that I'm in, and it got me out of debt. So looking back on it, I'd probably rather have that debt than not have my cards because I loved them so much. But at that time, it just made sense for me. That was the goal. And really, like, I mean, every, just kind of piggybacking on that, every dealer or collector in the hobby, I'm sure at some point has had a situation where, wow, I sold that card for $1,000, it's worth $3 now. Or I sold that card for 10 grand, it's worth 30 now, or whatever, you know. Right. And I just look at it like, if you look to your past, you can't see your future. And Chris and I have tons of stories like that. Oh my gosh, tons and tons and tons of stories. But the selling of it allowed us to have those stories because we reinvested it and bought more. Right. So I don't regret that. It was hard to let go of, but had I not let it go, I don't know that I would be in the position I'm at today. You know what I mean? It's not all dollars and cents. So
yeah. For you, Chris, is it hard to peel away from a card?
It used to be, but when I was a pure collector for a long time. And then I started, dealing at some point, and then you slowly morph into, you're sort of a hybrid of collector and dealer. And I'm much more of a dealer now. And it's not that I don't like collecting cards. For me, the fun part of cards is buying them, sorting them, basically buying them and sorting them. I don't know, or getting them graded. This is sort of the fun part, and that's all part of of dealing anyway. So I always say, like, my dealing is my collecting. Like, so I don't, to me, I don't enjoy the holding. Like, I don't enjoy just like having a card in my closet that much. So I'm sort of lucky in that sense, in that, that's not an aspect I really, really struggle to get over. But I know a lot of people really, really struggle to like sell that card that they really like, which is,
yeah. My thing is keeping stuff in your closet. Who's going to appreciate it but you? And that's why I started the YouTube channel. And also it was a way to chronicle my pickups just in case, because I always felt like I'm never going to take it with me. And my son's not into collecting cards, so I'm not going to pass it down to him. So I'm going to let him go eventually at some point. And at least YouTube is going to be my diary to, once I own that card and another time I own that card.
Nice.
That's how it was for me. And yes, I do identify with that whole keeping stuff in the closet, and it's not the coolest way to do things.
Yeah, very cool.
So, Chris, you have a PC, right? A Cal Ripken, I believe.
I do. Well, my true PC, like, these are cards I'm keeping, is and not like as an investment. These are like cards I want to keep. For me, there's only about 300 cards in my true PC, and probably about a quarter of them are Ripkens.
Okay. And do you have any of them right now? You want to?
I do. Luckily, which is I shouldn't have, but I randomly did because I'm in the middle of the move, and I just happened to have one box that has some PC cards in it.
Okay.
You wanna see some?
Yeah, of course.
So this is my favorite Ripken card ever made. I really want to get a 10. I currently only have a 9. It's his first auto, and it's like maybe the third autograph ever of a pack pulled card. Reggie Jackson in 1990 had one, and Ryan Sandberg in 91. Nolan Ryan, I think, in 91 as well. And then this is the fourth, I believe. I might be missing one, but it's 92 Donruss. This is a PMG from 1999. This is not the good PMG year, but this one's numbered out of 50.
Yeah,
and it's an 8.
Beauty.
This is a 1/1 from 1998 score.
Wow.
And it's
a 1/1.
It's a 1/1. Artist proof 1/1. I don't know. It's sort of a I don't know. There you go. That one.
And back then, a 1/1 was really a 1/1.
Yeah, that was the really early years of 1/1s. I love this card. This is one of his first patch cards. 2000,
Yeah, Bat Relic and Patch.
and this is back when patches were actually game used and had some relevance.
Okay.
Right.
They weren't just like somebody went to Sports Authority and bought a shirt and put it on there. But yeah, there's a few. I can show more, but that's
okay.
snippets.
And I guess Jeremy, not to steal Chris's thunder, but do you have any PC items on you?
I do. Yeah, and Chris, you're going to recognize one of them. So Chris and I got this in a deal.
Yeah.
Oof.
See that?
Fire.
It is gorgeous, dead nut centered, and I truly love this card.
Wait, what grade is that?
That's a 6.
Yikes.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's a 6. And it's got the NBA gold diamond. But yeah, it's a beautiful card. And then I just got this, and I think this, I haven't just fully decided if this is going to be PC or not.
Oh, you're gonna hold that? Yeah, that was in the deal we bought. You gonna hold on to that?
I'm seriously considering it. Yeah, it's a beautiful card. It's nicely centered. It's an 8.
This is last year too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a really nice card. This card's got a fun story. Chris, you remember when I got this? This is the silver out of 250. So we really enjoyed doing a lot of the prop bets and stuff for the Super Bowl. And I thought about it and I was like, instead of betting on, on a bunch of them, we still did it like, $100 or $200 just for fun. But I was like, I'm just going to buy a Tom Brady rookie card. And if he wins, it's going to go up. And if he loses, it's still Tom Brady. So I bought it before the Super Bowl and it immediately doubled when he won. So that was pretty cool. That was the last one he won. So that was a pretty cool story. And then let's see, one more. So I really like this card.
Okay.
Full disclosure, I would actually sell this card because I want a higher copy, but it's just dead centered. I mean, it's perfectly centered.
Well, no one can fault you for wanting to hold on to a dead centered vintage card.
It's tough to find errands that are dead centered unless they're like an 8 or something. You know what I mean? Like, and even then, some of the 8s aren't centered, but that's a tough card to find centered. So,
very nice, very nice. All right, so now between the two of you, who would you say has the bragging rights with the wisdom, the hobby wisdom?
I would say it used to be me, but we're probably even now.
Probably
certainly when we met, I was well 100%. Ahead of Jeremy. So when we met, I didn't get to tell that story. When we met, Jeremy and we did a few deals, and I was a novice. I'm very, very cautious about becoming partners with people. I don't partner up on any sort of real level much. But Jeremy had like all the things you would want in a partner except the knowledge. He wasn't like a fool or anything. He wasn't that far along in the knowledge of cards, but he had everything else. He was clearly very trustworthy. He had a lot of passion for the hobby. He was, he clearly was a hard worker. He had a lot of I don't know, talents that I don't have. He's much more personable than me. He's much more outgoing and things. So he had a lot of a skill set that was really strong. So he was like a perfect partner opportunity, except that he wasn't that knowledgeable with cards. But I could tell he was gonna get there pretty quick because he was so passionate about it, and he did. Yeah, I mean, and at this point, I couldn't claim knowledge over him. So there's certainly certain categories I know more than him, but there's plenty he knows more than me.
Now, Jeremy, you caught up to Chris by what he says. What do you consider yourself the expert in, and what do you bow down to Chris and consider him the expert to?
Chris is extremely knowledgeable in anything, everything, mid 70s to early 2000s, I would say. Like 80s, 90s, especially. I don't think I know anybody with the knowledge that Chris has in that era. And largely because you're really passionate about it and you dealt with it constantly, right?
Yeah.
So definitely that. I mean, definitely that. Like, I didn't know that there was 101 precious metal gems in certain years. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. I never had seen one. Obviously, it's a 101 precious metal gem. But I don't know. I would probably say pre-war is where Chris and I separate, more leaning my way, and 80s, 90s is more Chris's, and pretty much everything else is probably about a wash, I guess, right, Chris? Wouldn't you say?
Yeah. I mean, I would guess we're pretty close in 50s, 60s stuff, 70s as well.
Yeah, I mean we see that stuff constantly. So that stuff's pretty standard at this point. Ultra modern, like it's tough to keep up with all the brand new baseball players that are 17 and barely hit puberty. You know what I'm saying? Like that's tough to keep up with that. But I love football, so I watch football all the time. So
I'm definitely more knowledgeable in women's soccer cards.
Dude, I was just gonna say soccer. Yeah.
And Star Wars cards.
Okay.
Soccer and Star Wars, definitely Chris is the man. Yeah.
Well, I have a way to prove who's more knowledgeable.
Oh.
I'm gonna quiz you guys right now.
All right.
And it's gonna be 2 men enter and 1 man leaves. This is gonna be the format. And basically, I'm gonna put up 2 cards that are maybe 10% difference, and you gotta pick which one is the higher value card.
They're gonna be pretty close in value. Okay.
They're gonna be pretty close. And guys, if you're watching, you could type in and comment which one you think. This is going to be fun for everyone. And we're going to kick things off. Let me put myself up here.
So should I grab like a pen or something? Or
how do we tell you the answer without?
No, I'm gonna bring it back down once I show the cards.
Okay.
So in one hand, I have my Mike Tyson autograph. This is a leaf. It's an 8 of 8. And then in the other hand, I have an Albert Pujols autograph, 2011, tier 1. It's out of 99. So these are the 2 cards. They're about 10% difference.
10%.
Which one do you think is of higher value?
So the Pujols is tier 1 out of
So
99.
what are you basing the value on? Basing on what you paid for them? Or what?
No, latest comps, because what I pay for it, it's lower. I never buy comps unless it's a card I really want. But it's basically latest sales or VCP average, stuff like that. Or I look at some eBay latest sales and check out the average with that. And so it's within the last month or so. So between
what year was the Pujols?
2011.
And the Tyson was 2008?
No. The Tyson is 2021, I believe.
Oh, 2021. It's out of 8.
Out of 8.
It's a hard one. Okay,
I'll pick whatever Jeremy picks.
So how do you want us to pick?
How do we tell you the answer?
No, right now you say it. Say which one you're going with, and then I'll tell you who won.
But we'll just say it at the same time?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right,
Okay.
we'll say, I'll do 1, 2, 3, and then we say it, Jeremy?
Sure.
All right, do you have your answer?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, Tyson.
Tyson.
Come on, man. You waited to hear what I said.
I most certainly did not.
You're both wrong.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Averages 175 to 200. Mike Tyson averages 150 to 175.
Okay.
Man,
Yeah.
that's so close.
A big goose egg for that one.
Big goose egg. That was tough. That was tough. That could have
was
gone
very
either way.
tough.
Yeah.
I wanted to say Pujols, but it was out of 8. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, but it leaf.
That's
I mean,
tricky.
that was the trade-off, right? It's leaf.
Leaf,
But it's out of 8. Yeah.
Yeah, the leaf.
I don't have a sense for how rare Tyson's autograph is. Like, does he
Well,
sign
the
a lot?
leaf is what would bring it down. If it wasn't leaf, it'd probably be a little more expensive.
Yeah. Okay.
So next one. I have a Mike Trout 5 of 5. This is, I think, 2013 or 14. It's very early. Auto relic, 4 relics on it. As you could tell, it has 2 patches with the 3 colors. It's a 5 of 5. Or last playing day year of Burke Ross, 1951, Joe DiMaggio.
And what year was the Trout? And what was the number out of?
This one was at 2014, I believe.
2014. Okay, I got my answer.
The Trout's out of 5.
5 of 5. And Joe DiMaggio is a grade 5, if that makes any difference. Great.
Yeah, that's GC5. But there's been like a recent sale of the Trout.
Yes. That's the only reason why I put it up in there.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
DiMaggio.
Dang it, you're both right.
Dang it, we're both right. Oh my gosh.
Okay, it's 1-1-1.
All we do is tie. If you
Great minds think alike, apparently.
All
Yeah.
we do is tie. That's all we do.
Okay, let's see. Let's go with another one. Let's go
Chris, stop tying.
2 moderns. I have the guy in the National League who's challenging for the MVP, leading in home runs and RBIs. Matt Olson. This is out of 250. His rookie card,
Purple
purple.
refractor auto. Yeah.
And then we have a Micah Parsons rookie auto. This one's numbered to 149. Both of them raw. And which one do you think is higher value?
Can I see the baseball one again?
It's a purple refractor at a 250.
Yeah.
Yeah.
250. Okay. And the Parsons was out of 99?
149.
Oh, 149. Okay. Ultra modern baseball changes so fast that
Well, he's hot right now because
It
he's
could be
leading in
either one,
RBIs.
yeah.
And
So it's based on, there was like a very recent sale.
okay. All right. I got my answer.
Me too.
ready? 3, 2, 1.
Olsen.
Parsons.
Micah Parsons.
No.
One.
Wait,
Chris-
you didn't say Parsons?
No, I
Mike-
said the other guy.
Oh, okay.
Chris Olsen. So 2-1, Chris.
These are like coin flips, by the way.
That was
They're very
a cool
close.
flip for me.
They're
Yeah.
very close.
Yeah.
All right, I got a tough.
What was the values of them?
So Micah Parsons is around 225, and then Olsen's around 200,
Okay.
175 to 200.
200 for the Olsen. Wow.
It's gone up a lot because
okay.
he's so hot right now. Okay, this one's gonna be a tough one. Let's see. I got a few. All right, ready?
Yep.
I have a rookie grade 4, Ernie Banks, and as you can tell, it's a good copy with the top border showing.
Yeah.
Or an old school Allen and Ginta, John Clarkson in a grade 2.
Okay.
Which one do you think is higher value?
Banks or Clarkson.
1888 over 1954. One is a grade 4, Ernie Banks. The other one's a grade 2, John Clarkson.
Yeah, I need like pop counts on the Clarkson. Okay.
Clarkson is low. It's probably under 100.
Clarkson in the 2.
Ready? 3.
Wait, give me a clock. Let me hit the clock here. Give me an extra 30.
Hey, James is not
You're up,
holding,
Chris. So this one counts.
James is not holding back, man. This is hard.
These are brutal. These are brutal. There's so little. Are they all like 10% off from each other?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're basically coin flips. Okay.
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Banks.
Clarkson.
Chris, you went with Banks?
I said Banks.
Jeremy's right. 1,300 to 1,200.
God, that's so close. Oh
Come on,
my
man. That's
God.
not fair, dude.
2-2.
Oh my gosh.
All right. I got here's the next one.
That hurt. I'm stress sweating right now.
All right, ready? I have different eras. I have a rookie Marciano Raw.
Love it.
It looks like maybe grade 2 to a 3, right? Against an ultra modern heat wave, Trevor Lawrence out of 75. Rookie card graded a 10.
It's a Phoenix. Okay. It's
Yeah. Heat wave yellow parallel versus a Rocky Marciano rookie.
I mean,
I see the meat
I have
sweats.
no idea what that. How much was that? I mean, I have no idea what that Trevor Lawrence is.
I don't either.
So
and
Lawrence is at a 75.
Yeah, but he's one of the hottest
Yeah, I know.
quarterbacks. people
And
invest
it's his
in.
rookie. It's his rookie year, 2021.
Yes.
I got my answer, Chris.
You have your answer.
I do.
Yeah. All right. Fine.
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Rocky.
Oh man, Lawrence.
Chris is up. 3 to 2.
All right.
Duh.
Duh.
3 to 2. Okay, I got a tough one now.
Okay.
Let's see. One hand, I got
Oh,
Gold
you're
Medal-
right. This is Jeremy's alley.
Portrait 1.5. And in the other hand, I have a 1952 and a 4 BVG holder. Both of them centered. If you want to look at it again,
What's the back on the Johnson?
Johnson is a sweet cap.
It's not a
Nothing too crazy.
Okay.
Do you
Yeah,
know
I'm
it,
ready.
Jeremy?
Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah.
Hold on, give me 10 seconds on the clock.
Read it too. Chris is up.
Okay.
Ready? 3,
Yeah.
2, 1.
Walter.
Johnson. Yeah.
Both of you guys are wrong.
Yeah.
What?
Willie Mays.
Really?
2000
I mean,
card.
And you used it as a BVG value?
Yeah, I'm gonna throw a yellow card on. I'm gonna throw a challenge flag on that one. BVG.
Oh man,
It's a
figured the
$2,000 card. The Wojo is 18.
my thoughts were if it was PSA,
Yeah,
it would be the Maze. But
that's
since
exactly
it's
what I thought.
BVG, is that what you were thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah, and since it's BVG, it's got to be the Johnson. That's what I was thinking.
In PSA, it goes a smidge higher, but it also how centered it is, stuff like that goes
Sure.
into consideration to the highest value.
Sure.
So I had to go with a little bit high value of BVGs. So
Sure.
What were the values of them?
$2,000 average for a centered copy of a Willie Mays, and then the Wojo is 18.
Okay.
And I was shocked that the Wojo is like 18, but that's what it is. All right.
Okay.
So both of you were wrong, right? Both of you
So
guys
you both got that wrong. Yeah.
So it's 3-2 still, Chris.
With how many questions left?
I got a few here. I got a few. All right.
Okay.
Let's go with a little more modern. I got a short print in a 9.
Ugh.
Acuna, who might win the MVP this year. And then I got another 9 off sport to LT, the greatest linebacker in the sport, in a BVG 9.
Why is the Lawrence Taylor in a BVG? Why isn't it BGS?
I mean, BG. Well,
No, but it should be BGS. It's 82, right?
They didn't grade it that way.
Okay.
I submitted that. That's how it came back. But both of them are 9. One of them is the greatest linebacker who ever played the sport. The other one might win the MVP this year. Should be with the MVP winner. SP short print. Both of them.
I mean, I have no sense for how rare the Acuna is. It's a short print variation. Is it super short print? I mean,
no, it's the short print. He has a more shorter print, but this is the short print.
Okay.
You have an idea, Chris?
No.
I know. I really don't. I could see it being either one, really, honestly. But I have my answer though.
Yeah, me too.
3, 2, 1.
LT.
Acuna.
Chris again.
No, you're separating from me.
I can't pick a B. But why is the Taylor? Am I missing something? The BVG doesn't go to 82. BVG stops at 1980.
That's what they put it in as.
Interesting, because a 1982 card should be in a BGS holder, unless they changed.
I mean, I had it graded like 4 years ago, so maybe their policies changed.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and then I think I sent it in for a number grade, and they lowered the price. Said no, that goes in a BVG. It's a vintage card or something. They said, and that's how I got holdered.
What? How much were each of those worth?
So the Acuna is around $350. The Taylor is around $300.
The Acuna literally could have been like $20 or like $1,000.
Right. Exactly.
More respect to the GOAT, right?
Yeah.
All right. This one's going to be a tough one.
They're all tough.
All right. I have a PSA 2 Lou Gehrig 34 Gaudi, or a BVG 5 Clemente rookie card in a BVG holder.
The BVGs, man. The BVGs are throw-offs, man.
All right. I got my answer.
Wait, hold on, let me see again. The Gehrig's a PSA 2, and the Clemente's a BVG 5.
Yeah.
And are you going off like, oh my gosh, this exact card centered, so I'm gonna raise the market value?
No, just the average. I'm just
All
going
right.
with the average. Let me get you back on screen.
Okay.
Let me make sure I got the answer right. Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty confident in this one.
3, 2, 1.
Clemente.
Garrick.
Clemente, Garrick,
Garrick.
Snowman is catching up.
There you go, buddy.
4-3.
I can't go for BVG. I can't vote for him.
I would guess the Garrick's like what 2,500 ish.
No, 3,500.
35.
Clemente is 3,200.
Oh wow.
Average.
Okay.
Wait. You said the Garrick's 3,500?
Yeah.
Then the Garrick is more.
Well, because it's a PSA holder, so that one.
No, but you said Clemente was more, but you said Garrick was 35 and Clemente's 32.
No, I said Garrick is more. Is not what you heard? Did I miss?
Oh, then I got that right. I said Garrick.
Oh, you both said Garrick? I thought you said Clemente.
I said Garrick.
I said Clemente.
Oh, so Chris got it right.
Okay.
5-2. Sorry about that. I got the wrong winner.
Running away, bro.
I don't even know if I should. I had 2 more comparisons, but
I'll get the next one wrong on purpose.
Yeah.
Right now, it seems like I should not even bother. Do you want to do one more?
Yeah, sure. We'll do one.
Sure.
Okay, I'll do one more. Johnny Bench in a 4, nicely centered SGC holder. Or Captain America Christian Pulisic in a 9.5 210 subgrade.
Oh God, I have no idea. I don't.
And then Chris likes soccer.
Yeah.
You ready?
I don't do soccer, so I have no idea.
Chris, you ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Soccer.
Pulisic. Or Pulisic.
Wrong, Johnny Bench.
Okay.
Pulisic has been tanking lately.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah.
So Johnny Bench is worth around 200. The Pulisic is actually worth around 150 on up with the 210 subgrades, maybe 175.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would say it's 5-2. Chris, you are still the man. And
Well
you got
done, man.
bragging rights against the Snowman.
I'm gonna say my guesses were essentially all coin flips, so I can't really take heavy bragging
Dude,
rights.
that was like extremely painfully stressful for me. I was like, oh my gosh, like I like that last one. No clue. I don't follow soccer at all.
Dude, I saw beads of sweat. Was the snowman melting?
Dude, yeah, I actually sent picture to Chris of the real snowman.
Texas Snowman.
I'll pull it up. It's pretty funny. But yeah, dude, that was insanely hard, man. James, you did not hold back, bro. That was crazy.
I researched for a few days, digging through my PC, and every now and then I'll say, wait a minute, I think I could get something a little more closer. And I would dig a little more, and then finally, and I try to get different errors just to, you know, keep it a little bit mixed. So
sure.
That would make it fun.
Yeah.
So we have about 10 more minutes left. Mm-hmm. I would want to know, within what you've been doing, collecting, investing, and dealing, if you had a do-over with either one or all 3 of them, I guess I'll start with Jeremy. If you had a do-over with collecting, investing, or dealing, what would it be?
If I had a do-over, like, what do you mean? Like,
it's like a big mistake that now you wish you would have known now, what you didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have bought the Lou Alcindor PSA 9 for 13 grand, which was overpaying like 9 years ago.
It can't be with cards, though. We all know that cards are going to be worth more now or whatever, or you should have sold it in 2021. It like overall general mindset, stuff like that.
Overall general mindset, I mean, I think I wish I would have done even more collecting, I guess. That would be like maybe like more of a targeted, like kind of a goal, I guess, you know, instead of just, I mean, because I collected like players and sets that I liked, but I feel like I would have really enjoyed putting together, like, for example, baseball rookie Hall of Famer PC, for example, you know, and just keeping those rookie cards of every player, you know. That'd probably be the thing that I wish I would have done back in the day.
Okay. And for you, Chris, what would be a do-over you wish you could have back?
I wish I had. I wish I would. I wish I would have started dealing sooner. Like I would have. Wish I would have made it my career sooner because I always loved
Yeah.
cards. I was a collector my whole life. I just never viewed it as like a career thing, as a
Okay.
potential career. I don't know why. I
Okay.
tried a lot of other things. I was a teacher. I was a math teacher. I had my own tutoring company. I was in the film industry for a while. I was bouncing around doing a bunch of things, and I always came back to cards, and I always did it on the side, and it was always like a side income, and I never really thought about it career wise. I don't know why. It just didn't click as like this is something you could do as a career. And so I didn't finally do it until my I guess my early 30s. And I looking back, I mean, I wish I had started when I was like 18. I would have yeah, I would have discovered my calling earlier.
So now you're saying that you do this full time. Are you ever thinking about opening up a storefront, something like that?
No, not a storefront. I don't like. I mean, there's a lot of overhead in a store, and the store kind of. I like to move around a lot. I like to travel to buy collections, and when you're in a store, you're kind of stuck in one place. It's not. That's not for me, but yeah. So that's not in the cards for me. I mean, if like a store came up for sale and it made a lot of sense locally, you know, I'd be open to it, but it's not in my plans.
Mm. And Jeremy, you're like a drummer and
Mhm.
you teach. So this is what, a side gig for you, or what? How much of this do you give your full devotion to?
Definitely not a side gig. No, I probably now spend because for a long time, it was teaching and drumming and then cards, you know, kind of on the side for fun. It's far morphed into much more than that within the last few years, really, but especially a couple of years. So no, definitely more cards, less teaching for sure.
Yeah,
Mm.
for the first time since I've known him, Jeremy is talking about like you know doing this full time. I don't know full
Yeah.
time, but making
Mhm.
this your number one. You know,
Priority.
you spend your most time with cards more than, and that's something I've never heard him speak of. You know, prior to the last couple of years. So
Mhm.
that's cool.
Yeah, I
Now,
had never even hinted at that ever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
isn't it funny? Like you sort of had the same thing, Jeremy, as me. It's like for some reason it just didn't click as like this is like a
Yeah.
potential full time. You know, this is what I do for a living type
Mhm.
of thing. It was always like a side. I always just viewed it as a side thing, and
Right.
I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why I viewed it that way. I mean,
Me neither, really.
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe it's that sense of security knowing you have a quote unquote paycheck, I guess,
yeah. I
maybe.
mean, it is
You know?
right. There are ups and downs, and you can have a bad month, and you can overpay for a collection, and next thing you know, you make no income in a month.
Sure.
That does
Sure.
happen.
now, are you ever gonna set up with us or Jeremy at a show?
Oh yeah, well we've Jeremy and I've set up that I guess not that many, but some point in Dallas we'll do. I'll come to Dallas in the near future and set up with. I got you're there too, James.
Yeah, I'm with
Yeah,
Jeremy all the time.
Mhm.
yeah. So I'll be at one of the Dallas shows at some point, and the National next year, and we'll hopefully do a couple others. We're talking about doing Burbank at some point. I don't know if we can even get tables at Burbank, but
Mhm. Do you? I find that I hate Bill for one reason. He has desensitized me from some of the cards I used to like drool over, and now I handle them so often.
yeah.
I don't drool over them like I used to. Do you feel like me, like you've been desensitized by handling these cards, seeing them so often? Like, is that tough as a collector at heart?
Uh,
Chris?
for me, no. I've definitely become desensitized to like, wow, look at that card. That doesn't click because I've had you know, I've had so many cards coming in and out of my possession, so I'm much less awestruck by a card. But I don't see that as a that doesn't mean I'm less passionate about cards or the hobby at all. It's sort of the opposite. It's like I don't know. I don't that loss hasn't really been sad to me. I would say.
And for you, Jeremy, have you been desensitized in some way?
Desensitized is maybe a little bit of a harsh word for me, but I definitely don't look at them the same that I used to exactly. Like, oh my gosh, I have, you know, this Hank Aaron rookie, it's perfectly centered in a four, which I mean, there's much more valuable cards out there, but I love it, you know. But I would say definitely that I enjoy the excitement of buying and looking through cards the same, but I'm not like as wowed, if you will, by seeing them because I see so much of it. So pretty much same thing Chris said. Yeah.
The one thing I love about setting up at a show like with Jeremy is you never know what's going to come across your table. And there are times that you come across a card that you're like, you didn't even see one at the show. Like the first show I set up with Bill, Joe Jackson rookie card comes crossing up. I'm like, and I'm handling it like it's nothing. And I'm like, whoa. And then I'm seeing, other cards that were just the Cracker Jack Ty Cobb just being handed over to me. Look up a comp for that. And I'm like,
right. You're like, I've never even touched one. What are you talking about?
Let me get my nerves down. So that is like the coolest thing. Do you still go through that? Like oh crap, like let me not show my cards over here, and I'm shaking holding this card right now.
I think I've seen. I mean, again, like that I'm sort of past that, but it's not like there's not like a lack of
love
for it. It's not like I'm not interested or I don't care. It's just I've seen so many high end cards that it's very hard for me. It's very rare where I see a card I'm like truly awestruck. It definitely happens, but I still love the cards altogether. It's just that aspect isn't really there much for me anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know.
Jeremy,
I feel like Jeremy does still have more of the awestruck bug, more so than me at least.
For T206s, right, Jeremy? Like the rare backs?
Especially T206s. I love T206s.
Red Hindu. You had to see Jeremy when he saw Red Hindu back. He was like, my first time ever seeing one. Never held one. He didn't want to let that card go.
For me, when I see like a really rare high-end vintage card, it's not that I'm awestruck anymore. It's more that I'm like, it's more like respect. Like, oh wow, there's a feeling of like respect for the card and the owner, as opposed to like a childhood, wow sense.
Yeah, makes sense.
It's like, oh man, that's a card right there. Whoever owns this, congratulations. It's that sort of feeling as opposed to whoa.
Now, I love that you pointed that out, because having respect overall for not just the hobby and stuff like that, but also the fact that someone is now handing you the baton to a good piece or a rare item. And I love the fact that you just said respect, because that shows that you never lost it. You still respect it. And that, I gotta give you that one right there, Chris. That was love right there.
There was a deal.
Sorry. I was just gonna say that because this is a channel based on collectors. To hear you say something like that shows why you probably have the following that you have, like 65,000 subscribers. It probably shows,
Yeah.
So
there was I for some reason I just always remember this moment. There was a dealer at Frankenstein's. His name was Mick, and he's passed away. But he was just an older guy, and he had clearly been around the block, and he had seen it all, to the point where he's not going to be wowed anymore. And I was sort of fairly new, not that new, but I had gotten a Jackie Robinson rookie, the Bowman rookie in a PSA 6, and it was just a beautiful looking 6. And I just wanted to show somebody, like that was just the feeling I had in the moment, and I didn't know who to show, who would really like understand it. And I showed it to Mick, and I just remember him, he just looked at me and he just said, my respects. This is a great card.
Okay.
And he just handed it back, and that was it. And that was all I needed. Like, that was all I needed.
That's cool. I thought you said that. I thought you were alluding to the fact that he was gonna be like, "Oh, nice."
No. He was not like, "Whoa," and he wasn't like, "Oh, I want to buy it" or anything like that. He just was like calmly, "Hey, this is a great card. My respects to you for owning it."
Cool.
And handed it back, and that was it. That was all I wanted, and that's all I needed, and that was perfect. So
nice. Yeah. Me and Jeremy just saw that card at trade night. We were walking twice, right? The 49 twice. Yeah. And one of them was like a 5 or a really sharp example. It's like, how the heck this little kid has this 49?
Yeah.
We were shocked.
The hobby's definitely changed. I feel very secure for the future of the hobby. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see kids walking around with 30, 40, 50 G's and cards in their hand. They're like, yeah, this card's worth 10 grand. And I look it up, sure enough, it's worth 10 grand. And he's like, I'm like, so what do you want for it? And he's like, 10 grand. And I'm like, oh, so that's what you want? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, dude, it's a beautiful card, man. Keep rocking. You're awesome. They don't understand the concept of you can't You can't sell stuff for market value unless you're really selling to a true, just pure collector that looks at it like, oh, I'll just save money on taxes or on shipping or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's just funny, man. The some of the kids, they just don't really grasp that, and even if they do, they don't care. Like, I'll just keep it, whatever.
Right.
But it's so cool to see the kids with so much awesome stuff walking
He
around.
surprised me a lot. I bought a M101 Tinker card recently at a trade night, and I was shocked to see that there amongst the sea of shiny stuff, the Tinker M101-4, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like what is this doing here? He only wanted $150 for it, and I could not take out the money fast enough.
Right? Yeah.
For a Hall of Famer, here you go. Like I'm not even gonna haggle. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So John is here because we're gonna do a giveaway. We're doing one every hour. So John,
Yeah, great show, guys.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thanks.
So John, go ahead with the wheel.
Yeah, we're giving away one of James's cards here with his 1979 Ozzie Smith rookie card.
Awesome.
Nice. Iconic.
There you go.
All right, I will give it the usual 4 shuffles. 1, 2, 3, and a 4. And let's go.
Drum roll, please.
Is that Jeremy?
Right.
Yeah.
Chris Sewell.
Wow, that is strange because our very next program is hosted by Mr. Dom of Staven Sports Cards.
Oh, that's funny.
The
Nice.
fix.
Yeah.
We're gonna get investigated.
Yeah, I'm worried
I don't
about
know,
that
man.
now.
This looks kind of shady.
But
Guys.
yeah,
I just wanna. I guess we're gonna close any second now. So I just wanna let Jeremy and Chris, say what you guys want to say. Your last parting words. I guess Jeremy, take it off first.
Yeah, I just want to say, I Chris is a dear friend. I wanted him to win finally from good margin. So you're welcome. Thank you. No, congrats on the brutal beatdown. You beat me pretty bad this time. So I don't know about you, but that was very mentally stressful. That was hard.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, they were so close. But it was super fun. James, thanks for putting that together. John, I appreciate you guys. And Chris, pleasure as always, buddy. And yeah, man, we love the hobby and honored to be here.
Great. And Chris?
Yeah, same. I mean, thanks for having us on. This was a lot of fun. Thanks for putting the trivia together. Yeah, appreciate it. And yeah,
it's a blast. I feel like I was watching more than hosting because and I always liked when you guys would try to outwit each other so I had to have that as part of this. Thank you guys for coming on, being a part of this. I consider both of you friends, and I'm just happy to be surrounded by friends like you guys.
Yeah, same here, man.
Same here, man.
So with that being said, guys, stay tuned for the next one. Who's on next, John?
we're going over to Dom leading a team that's talking about going beyond player runs into all kinds of unique and different issues of cards. So everybody switch over to that one, and we will see you there. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We will be signing off of this one. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Appreciate it. Bye.
Thanks, guys.